So here's a follow-up powerlifting question again. Rip, what are your thoughts on powerlifting gear used, such as bench shirts, squat suits, etc.? I spoke to a powerlifter recently, and he told me these can add as much as 100 pounds to the bench and the squat. You consider these to be useful tools similar to a belt? There's another powerlifter I spoke with that only lifts raw, no assistance other than belt, and considers the other guys to be cheating. Well, a belt is a passive aid. The belt doesn't lift the weight. The belt doesn't act on a joint in the same way that a squat suit and a bench shirt does. Squat suits and bench shirts resist flexion in the hips and the shoulders and elbows. And as a result of that, they actively participate in adding to the amount of weight you can lift with them on. All right. Now, this is a problem in that when this equipment became popular and when it was invented back in the 70s, back in the 80s especially, the equipment manufacturers got into the powerlifting meet business and created a competition venue where their equipment was legal. And they specifically created a market for this stuff. And the IPF allowed them to do it. Right? USPF allowed them to do it. And it's, it's a damn shame. But it's, it's just so embedded in the deal right now that there's not going to be any way to get rid of it. I think that raw lifting has gotten a lot more popular because of because this other thing is just such obvious bullshit that what are you going to do?
I really wish that high schools would start a raw division, and I guarantee you every single student would start lifting in the raw division, and equipped lifting would just disappear.
They don't have any raw in high school?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think so.
High school powerlifting is not worth discussing on this program.
I think it is. It's very important.
It is an absolute. It is these people, these high school football coaches, are not intelligent. They're not as intelligent as Monkey. This young man right here is much better at administering anything as those people. High school football coaches are just.
Well, we've established
and if you're
that.
a high school football coach and you're offended, good.
We've established that many
I'm
times.
insulting you because you're a stupid motherfucker. All right?
We've established that many times, and
Yes.
that's not the point. The point is that there's a lot of kids being introduced into powerlifting, and they're being told you have to wear a suit, you have to wear a
That's
wraps.
right. And who's telling them that?
Well, it's the fact that it doesn't even exist. That raw lifting
Who's
doesn't
telling
exist.
them that are these stupid fuckers in high school football coaches. That's who's telling them all this shit. I mean, you got people doing partial reps with squat suits on and partial benches with bench shirts on, and it's like there's no other way to do this. You have to have a shirt and a suit in order to even handle this barbell. And I
assume it's part of the deal. You got 120-pound girls squatting 315, and they don't know any better.
They don't know any better. It's not their fault.
I went through it. And I was told as a freshman and sophomore, hey, I need you to stay at this weight because you need to lift in this, and that stunted my growth. Junior and senior, same fucking thing. And we wore suits, we wore wraps, and looking back on it, I mean, it's practically child abuse.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. I mean, to tell
borderline child abuse.
To tell
a
a growing young man to say, hey, I need you to not gain weight.
Well, there's nobody more guilty of that than wrestling.
Yeah.
The wrestling
I completely agree
people
with
are
that. I
just,
completely
you
agree with
know,
that. Completely agree.
I know you weigh 150 pounds right now, but I need you at 118.
Oh, yeah.
I need you at 118. If you want to wrestle on the team, you need to be at 118.
I remember going
To tell a 16-year-old kid that. That is...
I remember being on buses going to regional or state, spitting in a cup, hadn't eaten for 2 or 3 days, and I'm spitting in a fucking cup and wearing a sweatsuit or the sweat
Trying to
bag,
make weight.
Trying to make weight. Yeah.
This is child abuse.
And people don't ever grow out of that shit. There's adults that just reflexively, because they've signed up for a lifting meet or they've signed up for a jiu-jitsu competition, that they reflexively are going to cut weight. Mm-hmm. It's like, you aren't good enough to cut weight.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
No. Your performance in this little informal meet is irrelevant.
Right.
Now, if you want to do it, that's good. We're happy that you want to compete. But don't harm yourself physically in order to do so. This is absurd. It's just absurd, and I'm telling you, it's these high school football coaches that have power over these kids, and they shouldn't have power over the kids. I can't think of a better reason to homeschool your kids than high school football coaches. Join us this Friday for this week's episode, of Starting Strength Radio. We are going to have just a ball talking over the top of a stack of questions in what we call a paper Q&A. You write your questions to us. We read them if we want to and discuss the ideas contained therein. And sometimes we don't learn anything from you, but you always have fun listening to us. So be here this Friday. Bye.